You're listening to the Disruptive Franchise Podcast with Stacey Cann, the podcast that celebrates innovation in franchising and peeks behind the curtain of failure, success, and the future of the franchise industry.
Welcome, everybody. This week, I'm talking to amazing sales expert Anna Green, and we're going to be discussing why maybe you are talking too much in your sales calls and actually losing the sale for various reasons. We're also going to be talking about the human side of selling. I'm very excited. So please welcome Anna Green from the Salesmakers.
Hello.
Hey, Anna. I feel like there should be a fanfare there. Yay. Love it. Anna, before we get cracking with that dynamite topic, introduce yourself, tell everybody what you do and kind of where you come from.
Yeah, I can do that. Blind date, here we go.
Yeah.
So I'm Anna Green and I'm from North Yorkshire. I live in the Yorkshire Dales and I own the Salesmakers. So it does what it says on the tin. It's a sales strategy company. So I help people make more sales within their businesses. So I work with founders who they've got to a point in their business where they've sold their products and services through sheer passion and winging it and realised they've got to a point where they just cannot scale anymore doing that. Something's got to change, and it's filling in all those foundations, the processes, the stuff that's going to enable consistent sales, secure sales, regular sales, so that they can then scale without the ups and downs quite so much.
Amazing. And just before we started recording, we were saying how do people feel about sales generally? And what I really loved actually was that you said sales don't have to be icky. So let's start there, because I know an awful lot of people, not just in franchise, but they find sales really difficult because it's the thought, isn't it, of selling something.
Yeah, totally. So many people think, oh, I've got this amazing product, this amazing service. I want to make an impact. I know people are going to love this, and start a business, whatever style of business it is, with that in mind. And then they realize, well, actually, I'm going to have to do that one thing that I hate, that I see people doing so badly, and it's put me off for life. And I really don't want to be like those people, but I've got to go out and sell. And we get in our own way so much about it. It's just the weirdest thing. And we can feel so icky about asking people for money. Especially, I mean, I'm a Brit, you're a Brit. We don't like talking about money.
Brained.
Don't like asking for money. So this whole asking for people to either help us or pay us, or, you know, that exchange of something for money can be a really difficult thing. And then that fear of rejection, or the fear of being thought of as somebody who's pushy and salesy. Gosh, no, it's awful.
I have to say, one of the bits of feedback that we got from Disruptive. So Anna was at the Disruptive Franchise Awards this year. She's one of our panel guests. One of the biggest smiles on my face was when I read a piece of feedback that said it was lovely to be at an event where I wasn't sold to all day. And I was like, yes, we cracked it, because there were sales messages throughout the day, but we weren't like, hard sell, run to the back of the room, 10 people only, and all of that nonsense. And I was really proud of that, because it goes to show, doesn't it, that sales really doesn't have to be icky.
And you did sell all the way through that event.
Yeah, I did.
All the way through. And then you did a pitch at the end.
Yeah.
To buy your thing. And for somebody to say that, that's what sales should be. It should be a guided journey to either extend the offer and work with you further, or get the outcome that they want. And it should be a natural process. But so many people are triggered by the bad sales techniques that have sometimes gone along, that either they don't do it at all, or they think that's the only way.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Absolutely agree. As you were talking there, actually, I was thinking about what we were saying on a previous episode about AI, and that we only really recognize it when it's done badly. And therefore, because it's been done badly, it clangs and we go, oh, I don't want to be like that. I think as much as we're like that with bad use of AI, where we see like the content written by robots and all the dashes and stuff like that, I think sales is like that as well. We've probably all had somewhere along the line a bad sales experience ourselves, and it just puts us off, doesn't it?
Yeah, and not surprisingly, really. I mean, if you think that you're going to come across as one of those old double glazing salesmen from way back when I was a kid that used to knock on the door and basically tell you your house would fall down and you'd all die unless you bought the double glazing, or they would not leave the doorstep, or they were trying to get in your house, Or those people nowadays that drop into your inbox with their, hey, I can see you're massively overweight. Will you buy my diet pills? Oh, you just think, no, actually, that's not sales. That's people just completely misunderstanding the point of building a strong, authentic business that's ethical and has integrity. And unfortunately, it does work for some people, but only people with a, do you know, like colour personalities or disc profiling?
Yeah, the disc profile.
People who are red, the direct people, there's a very small percentage of them, especially in the female community, but in males as well, there's very few direct reds. And those are the people that they've got very little empathy. So we're talking the extreme version of. They've got very little empathy. They don't really get worried about a no because they know a no's just a no. It doesn't matter. They're that sort of person. They're the sort of people that get really, really good at running a business and running sales things because they don't attach themselves to the outcome. And they don't care, not because they're horrible people, but they just don't have that thing in their brains that cares that people are going to think badly of them. Whereas, like, I think it's about 80, 85, 90% of the population have this empath gene somewhere along the way, whatever, however empathy is made, that stops us from doing that because we feel emotions attached to how people think about us or what we're going to make other people feel. So that stops us from doing this thing. But it works, that whole DM 100 people a day, send these weird messages through people's websites and, just like spam the world with your thing. Can't remember how many times I get in my website contact box, buy these dog leads. Like, no, don't have a dog. That's what people perceive as sales, and it's sales for a certain very small type of person. And actually, they don't matter to you. If that's not how you want to sell, you don't have to sell that way. And you're not going to come across that way if you do this with integrity and the right way.
Love that. I really do. And you're so right. And it's the reason that people don't want to give their email address because they think I'm going to get spammed and unsubscribe and all the hassle of it. I think one of the key things that we do as human beings, I see this a lot in the franchise industry, is we make it about us as the person selling and we forget that actually it's nothing to do with us, really. It's about the person that we're selling to. Would you agree with that?
Totally. If we make it about us, that's when it becomes desperate. That's when it becomes icky. Because I don't know whether, I bet a majority of the listeners, they've sold things in the past for somebody else. It's really easy to sell for somebody else because you're really passionate about the thing and you've tried it and you want somebody else to try it. Or you're doing it as part of a salaried job that you're detached from it because you're selling the company's thing. But when it's your thing, we then attach emotion to it again. So it then becomes that thing as actually, this means more to me than just recommending that thing that I absolutely love to my best mate because they wouldn't want to live without this thing that I find so magical. So somehow when we're talking sales, we need to start thinking, if it's our own thing that we're selling, what's it going to do for them? What's the amazing thing that they're going to get out of this thing and sell from impact? So when I talk about sales, I say stop selling, start serving, solving and offering. Help people, support people and give your value, time, energy, whatever it is, in exchange for money. Because when you start doing that, when you start serving people, solving their problems, offering amazing opportunities, it becomes about them. So you stop asking people to buy, you help people to get a result. And it totally changes your mindset. And every time I say it, it gives me goose pimples because I get so passionate about it because I know that the more you can help people, the more impact you can have, the more money you can make, which therefore in turn gives you more ability to impact people, to help more people, to make more money, and so on and so on. But it's just the flip in your brain about what sales actually is.
Yeah, I was like literally, for those of you that are listening, not watching, I literally sat forward and just drank that all in. I love it. I really did. I can feel that passion. I think also, particularly with those listening here, like the franchise audience, I think when we are sold to as business owners in this sector, it's very much like how we can help you make more money. But most lifestyle franchise businesses, started because they wanted to have a bigger impact. And exactly what you just said there, that focus on helping more people, having that bigger impact, and the money should flow from it. It completely changes how you show up to sell, right?
Yeah, totally. And when people are selling, if they're trying to sell to somebody that just wants to make an impact and it's a lifestyle business, it's not about the money, they're not going to buy into that thing anyway. Whereas if that person on the other side was saying, actually, do you know what? I can help you do this, this, and this. I can help you make an impact. I can help you change the lives of those children that you're doing classes for, those people who are buying into that thing that you've got, whatever it is, they're the ones that are going to make you buy their thing because they've nailed that messaging, because they know what your problem is. This is why it's so important to know your ideal client. So important, because if you know who they are, how they feel, what they're going through right now, where they want to be, your package, whatever it is you sell, becomes the solution to that thing. It becomes the thing that's the no-brainer. And I think this is where so many people get it wrong, and why so many people can't close sales, or they're not getting people buying through their social media marketing or whatever, is because they haven't got that bit nailed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And you've worked with some people in the franchise sector as well, haven't you, Anna? I know you've done some audits and things like that. What's the most common thing that you see getting in their way?
I think a lot of the time they've done what I said at the beginning. They've wung it so far. They've been sticking stuff out on social media and hoping for the best, or going out there and attending the events and talking to people and the rest of it. And then it's the process from there. So it's the process from meeting the people, building the like, know, and trust and understanding, and then the offering. That there's so many leaks that I see. And these will vary depending on people's strengths. But more often than not, there's just not a clear pathway for those people to follow to take them from being somebody you've just met to being a hot lead. And it's just then missing so many people from that journey. Because if people could understand what you do and who you help, and how you're going to massively help that person, and why them and why now, and then be able to fill that gap for them that they've got with your product and ask the question, do you want it? Then I think that's probably the entire of a sales journey that is fragmented for a lot of people. And that's where I come in and help people fill those gaps, get that process, not in a techie way or like a really structured, systemized, you must use this script type of way, but in a way that works for them, that makes this journey smooth for them, repeatable for sales teams, for franchisees, the franchisors, and for anybody to follow, so that they can get more of people coming out of the other end of this journey buying the thing.
Yeah, I love that. I think one of the things that we really miss is that we've all got it so drummed into our heads that we have to get more people in the top, because we know this funnel shape and we know that we've got to get more people in the top. And if we get 100 people in the top, someone will buy at the bottom. But we completely forget the connection in the middle that's so necessary, because you can put 100 people in the top, never speak to them again. Guess what? They're not going to buy from you. And I think from my experience in franchise as well, so when I first came into kind of looking at franchise recruitment stuff, it was quite shocking, because the whole notion was speed to phone. We wanted to get them on a call as quickly as we could. We've got a brochure, like download, let's get them on the phone now, quick. Don't want to waste any time. They don't know you. Why on earth would they go on the phone? I don't talk to anyone on the phone. I screen my calls. I'm one of those people. But what I'm all about at the moment is educating them to, like, let's not rush them onto the call. Because when you try to rush somebody onto a sales call, they know it's a sales call. They're not, we're not talking to people who don't understand this, and they go, I don't want to be on sales call, I've just downloaded a brochure, I just wanted to look at the PDF. And actually in my agency system, it's all about extending that timeline in a way that creates better know, like, trust. I think Dan Priestley says they've got to see you something like 11 meaningful times rather than like 37 touch points. They've got to spend a few hours with you if they're going to spend significant money on a franchise. And yet we're still watching people go, yeah, get on a call, and then getting annoyed that they've been ghosted because they didn't turn up. So, yeah, I completely agree with you. And we just forget that we have more work to do. The email address is not, the permission slip that it used to be, right?
Very much not. And I don't think it was back in the day, to be honest. I don't think that system ever particularly worked very well and is not suited to us people pleasers.
No, not at all.
But the problem is some people, they'll download that brochure and they will be ready to buy. And if you don't get those people when they're ready to buy, they'll find somebody else that does. However, you will have some people that download a brochure and buy in 6 years' time. So you have to have something in place that catches everybody depending on how they want to buy. And if you don't, you miss people. So like if somebody phoned me straight away to try and sell me something, I would probably be okay with that because I'm the sort of person that would download a brochure and be like, well, yeah, I like it, but I'm not ready yet. But tell me a bit more. And I'd be happy to say no. Somebody else who has a fear of being sold at may not pick up that phone. Exactly. You, there we go. Putting hand up. Yeah, you might run a mile from that and go, so that is not the company for me. So there's got to be some way, and there is ways of making it so that people can like choose their own adventure. Do you remember those books?
Yes, I love those books.
Yeah.
Turn to page 4 if.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I think that again that has to be part of the sales process as well, doesn't it? In that your sales process is not download the brochure, get a couple of emails, jump on a call. It's let's be a bit more clever about it with the tech we've got now. It's so exciting because again in the agency we can kind of go, right, okay, well they downloaded the brochure but they didn't open any more emails. Or they downloaded the brochure, they clicked on the form but they didn't complete the next form. And we can treat them differently depending on where their behaviour shows us that they potentially are at. We're always only guessing, but rather than that generic one size fits all, I think it's really we've kind of, I think, as a population, trained ourselves to be a little bit fearful of giving the details as well. I think also what I'm seeing in franchise with my clients definitely is that they are, so in franchise, like a notorious like 6 months is like the average time from download to brochure to making the sale. But what I'm actually seeing as a different trend is that people aren't downloading that brochure. They're binging you on social media a lot longer before they're even willing to download the brochure. So by the time they actually get that brochure or enter the funnel, however they enter the funnel, they are actually a little bit more, they've kind of sold themselves a bit more, you know? It's a hurdle for them to cross in their mind rather than for you to pull them over.
Yeah, I totally agree with this because I think people are more wary about downloading something because they know that the person behind the business will have seen that they've downloaded this thing. I do just want to go back to where you said it's a lot of guesswork.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be guesswork. It doesn't have to be guesswork. I saw it on your face and I was like, oh, no, it doesn't. Because you just need to know what questions to ask the right audience to know at each stage of the journey to lead them where you want to lead them to help you understand and qualify them better, to give them the thing that they're going to need next to be able to make an informed choice. And it's knowing your ideal client again so well that you think, well, okay, so if this person, maybe they're a little bit nervous about this. Maybe they've never done anything like this before. Maybe they have experience. And being able to put people down the right pathway, funnel, whatever you want to call it, becomes so much easier when you know more about that person and more about the business and where you want them to go and where's going to be most helpful for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. And I think we're so lucky now from a proper marketing geek hat on, but we have so much data as well. So it's a case of like, you're dead right. It's not the guesswork really. It's about going back and looking at the data and optimizing and, you know, again, talking to people. People forget that they can talk to people and ask them like, what do you think of this? Or how did that work? So yeah, absolutely. I want to come on to talk about the sales call aspect. I guess in my mind specifically for franchising, but it doesn't have to be specific on franchising. We opened the podcast episode with, you're losing sales probably because you're talking too much. So I'm going to shut up. But the reason that I wanted to come on to this is because I see an awful lot of, again, franchise specific, like franchisors, it's all about trying to get people onto the call. And all of the focus is like, get them onto a call, get the call booked. They haven't really thought through what they're going to do with that call and how they're going to construct it and systemize it, like you say, make it repeatable, but also to really get the good stuff out of the person on the phone. So where are people going wrong here?
Well, first of all, who are they getting on a call? If they're just trying to get anybody and everybody on a call, what's the point? Some people, like we said before, are not ready for a call. You'd be wasting your time, especially if your calls are an hour long, which they really shouldn't be. But I know people that do. So the first place I would start to look is, how are you qualifying these people to get them on a call? How are you making sure that they're a right fit before the call? Because what tends to happen is so many calls, they're already failing. They're already a no because they're not ready to buy. They haven't yet seen the value in buying. They don't understand why. So you'll tend to find that lots of people who get low conversions or lots of no's on sales calls or people not turning up, it's because of this reason. And the excuses, like, oh, that's expensive. It's not too expensive. They just haven't been shown the value of it yet. It hasn't filled the gap from their problem that they've got and the solution that they want. So they don't see the value. They're saying, oh, wow, oh, it's lovely, but I'll have to think about it. They weren't ready for the call. So there's that bit first. And then on the call, once you've got the right person, why do they think this is great for them? Ask them that question. You've booked this sales call. What are you excited about starting this franchise? Why would you love to come to this thing? What is it about this package that you found so appealing? Find out their thing. Find out what their problem is. What do they want to take? Where do they want to go with this thing? And get them telling you why they want to buy it. Stop trying to convince them. They've come on the call because they're ready to buy, hopefully. If not, you've got something wrong earlier on. But they come on the call because they want to buy. So, you shouldn't be doing convincing at any point because that's why they're there. And then it should, in inverted commas, be an easy sale because they're already ready to buy. So you're not handling objections. That should have all been done way before this point. You're answering questions. You're providing reassurance. You are being their confidence because you know it's right for them. And if you know it's not right for them, you tell them so. And you make an executive decision that is the way to go. Because you'll know, and they take your confidence and your authority that this is the right decision as the reason for buying. So it just becomes a whole different conversation. I've never done sales calls where I've had to pitch to somebody. And I've done sales calls for recruiting, for buying products, for big package, high ticket mastermind type things, for sponsorship packages for events, 50, 100 grand's worth of stuff. There's never been any convincing or handling objections because they're already pre-qualified. They've already come onto the sales call to buy the thing. And if that's not happening, it all needs looking at.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So aligned. We've just got an entire system that does all of that stuff, which is beautiful. I think from my point of view, I was just sitting there thinking about conversations past with people that I've sold franchises to. And you're so right. Not one of those people that I ever sold a franchise to, like when I was doing the calls, did I have to twist their arm or convince them, or like it should all be done beforehand, which makes it a really nice chat and a get to know you. And are you right? In franchise, we have this thing where I say we, like certainly people that work with me say it because they're kind of, it's drummed into their brain. But we don't sell franchises. We have to talk about selling franchises as the common language and communicate what we do because people understand that. But we don't actually sell franchises. We award them. We should be awarding them to the right people. Exactly what you said there. We should be getting the right people on the calls that we then decide are re-awarding this or not. And I think when we reframe it like that, it's a completely different conversation.
Yeah, totally different conversation. I always say I'm not selling sales strategy. I'm giving people the opportunity to earn an absolute ton more money in less time with less stress and give them their life back. And for somebody in franchising, you're awarding a franchise, you're selling a franchise, but you're not selling a franchise. You are giving people this amazing opportunity to have potentially a lifestyle business or the opportunity to scale, but without all the pressures of setting up on your own, all these things. That's what you're selling. I talk about it as selling the sizzle, not the sausage.
Yeah.
And it was a phrase I heard way back when. Sausages on their own, they're
So
when they're
boring.
in a packet, they're slimy, they're pink, they're gross, they don't smell very nice. Whereas you put them in a pan and they start to sizzle and you start to smell them, your mouth starts watering, you can start getting hungry, you're imagining them between the two slices of bread or the bap or whatever it is, whatever you call it, with the red sauce or the brown sauce, and you're waiting to take that first bite and they're starting to go brown. That's what you're selling. You're not selling a sausage in a packet.
No one cares about the sausage in the packet. That's
Nobody
the thing.
cares.
You're absolutely right.
They want the solution. I can't remember who said it now. Somebody said this really famous phrase that got stuck in my head. You don't go to B&Q to buy a drill. You go to B&Q to make a hole in a wall. Well, however you're going to make that hole, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the drill. It can be a hammer.
Yeah.
You find the thing that fits for the solution that you need and the outcome that you need.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also the other thing that we're very guilty of on a sales call is that we forget that it is really about the connection and the conversation. And so what a franchisor does is they panic. And I've done this as a franchisee as well, to be fair. And you panic and you want to tell them everything. It's too much. And again, I'm a big advocate, I'm sure you are too, of like, if you've got a system in place, the system should deliver that information for you. Yes, you're going to talk about key aspects. You're going to talk about what's in the package, the support, but you shouldn't be giving them a list of absolutely everything because it's just overwhelming, isn't it? And exactly like you say, that you're trying to sell the sausage rather than...
Yeah, it's the facts and the features, and nobody cares. Nobody cares about facts and features. They don't care how many modules you've got to do or what's included and all this stuff until they've already bought into it.
Yeah.
When they've said yes, unless they want to know these things, because some people, some personalities, have to know everything, but they will ask for everything. And you'll know whether they need everything because they'll just keep asking questions and asking questions. If they're not doing that, don't tell them everything. They don't need to know. They can say yes, this is for them, and then you go through some of the key things that they need to know to get them from the yes to their first quick win, or the legalities. Anything that they need to know basis, and then you feed them a little bit more later on, and a little bit more later on. Onboard them properly.
Yeah.
Do it that way instead.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So stop talking so much. Stop giving them everything. Stop selling the sausage. Just gold in this episode. I love it. Love it. Anna, how can people find you if they want to come and say hello or connect or work with you?
I am on pretty much all the platforms. So the Salesmakers on Instagram, Anna Green. Presume if you search the Salesmakers as well, it will come up on LinkedIn and Facebook. Yeah, and just send me a DM if you want some sales support. If you've got a question, drop me a message. I do leak audits as well, short little free sessions where people can come on to a call with me and just get some guidance on a little part of this sales journey and see where we can plug a couple of leaks on a call. And yeah, that's probably the best way of getting me, through socials and DMing me.
Amazing. We'll put the links in the show notes as well. Anna, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. This episode was brought to you by Impact Franchising, the agency who offer predictable franchise growth done for you. If you have loved what you've heard, please go and help other people find it by hitting the subscribe button and liking the episode. See you on the next one.